Hi everyone, so I am doing a well overdue update today, and gosh, so many things have happened since I last recorded. I mean, it was last year that I did my last video, so happy 2021 everyone, and I hope it's a lot healthier and happier year for many of you than last year was. But yeah, heaps has happened since I did my last video. The biggest things that happened was in December last year, which is why I didn't really record much towards the end of the year. I got much more involved with the sanctuary that I sponsor the bunnies through. I'm here with some of the bunnies now. You can see that Blossie here has got a little funny cone on, which is peeling off at the moment, but she's had an operation recently and the cone's just to stop her from picking at her stitches, so that's why she's got that on. I just thought I'd explain that. But yeah, the sanctuary that I was fostering through, I got much more involved with that because the bunny situation, they've got a lot of bunnies there and the bunny situation wasn't great. There just wasn't enough people to look after the bunnies. The enclosures that they were in just weren't really appropriate, and so I thought, well, maybe I could, even though I was really short on time, I thought maybe I could get involved and really help take over sort of the role of being the bunny coordinator and really help to try and sort it out for the bunnies there. I thought maybe the founders were just a bit too finding it too hard with their own personal issues that they were struggling with at that time. And so there was another new lady that had come on board at the sanctuary and was handling most of the sanctuary daily going-ons, and I loved her. She was fantastic, so we got on really well. And so together we sort of teamed up and got new enclosures built and found nurses that could come and help with the bunnies and found people that would help with their daily care and tried to really get a whole bunny network happening at the sanctuary. So that was really good for a little while, and then something happened there with this lady that I was really enjoying working with, and I did not feel she was treated fairly. She left the sanctuary in very traumatic terms, and I did not approve of how she was treated, and I took that up with the founders, whom I had considered to be my friends, but I don't put up with abuse at all. So I said, look, I'm going to step away from our friendship with that. I, of course, will continue to keep looking after the rabbits, keep fostering the bunnies, because I'd never disadvantage an animal through a personal disagreement. So of course I was like, of course I'll just carry on fostering the rabbits, but I need to step away from our friendship for a little while. Please respect that, because I don't approve of the way that you've treated this person, and I am supporting her. So we did that, and that was okay for a few weeks. During this time, Jason, the little black and white bunny that was living with these three girls here, he was the fourth one, he actually was struggling a lot. He had kidney issues, he had dental issues, and we were doing all we could for him. He went in and had his teeth filed down, and he was on kidney medication as well as pain relief. We were feeding him up, I was feeding him by hand every few hours and making sure he was eating as much as he possibly could, critical care, special porridge, high energy foods, that sort of thing. But his teeth still weren't improving, so we went in, took him in to the vet. He was staying overnight to get his tooth extracted the next day, so we had him on fluids so that he'd have the best chance of getting through the operation really well. And he was doing really well, but then they called me the morning that he was meant to have his tooth out to say that he'd had some sort of seizure and he couldn't stand up and he really wasn't coping, and it was his time to go. So I went in, rushed into the vet that morning and was with him and comforted him and held him while he was put to sleep. And that was really sad. I brought him back here, of course, so the girls could say goodbye to him. And then shortly after that, I got a text message from the founders of the sanctuary to say that I had to return all the rabbits that I was fostering here to the sanctuary. I had no choice. And of course I argued that I did not think that was in the rabbits' best interest, because the whole point that they came to me was because the sanctuary could not provide the care that they needed, which is why I was caring for them. All these rabbits, most of them have special needs and have ongoing health issues. They're old. This is meant to be their forever home, their retirement home, because I long-term foster. And so I was adamant that I did not feel that they should go back to the sanctuary, because there was not enough people to look after them and give them their daily medications that they needed. The sanctuary only has somebody come twice a week to give medications, and these guys need at least once daily care, sometimes a lot more. And they also would be just put into little hospital cages. There was no other foster carers for them to go to, and I knew this, and so I argued the fact, but it got pretty nasty, and eventually, after a lot of drama, they said that if I wanted to keep them, I would adopt them and would be responsible for all of their, financial needs after that, which is pretty tough because there's 9 of these long-term foster rabbits that I've been caring for. I have 2 rabbits rooms. This is, as you probably know, this is my first one, but I do have 2. So there's 9 of these rabbits that I have been caring for, and it's a pretty big responsibility because they do all have ongoing health concerns, which is a lot of veterinary costs, as well as medications that they take daily and all that sort of thing. But that was the only way that they would let me keep them, and it was almost that they would not let me keep them, but I was willing to go to court to keep these rabbits because I knew they would not be looked after the way they needed to be, and I was not going to have them ripped out of their home when there was no issue with their care here. It was simply proving a petty human point over an argument that had nothing to do with the welfare of these rabbits. So I was like, well, that's what we have to do. We have to adopt them. We can't let them go back there, and there's nothing else we can do. If that means they keep their home and they keep getting the care they need, then that's what we do. So we signed the papers, and now they are all adopted. So we have 12 adopted bunnies now. We had 3 adopted before, and then the 9 long-term fosters, but now we have the 12 adopted bunnies. And yeah, it's been a pretty stressful time. I was just so angry that they would try and take these rabbits out of their home and away from their family, especially with ones here like Beanie, who has, bunny dementia. She's confused as it is, and she relies on having familiar surrounds and having her bunny family with her and knowing her human family. The whole reason she came here to start with was because she'd had a very stressful incident at the sanctuary, and she had shut down, and they were worried she was going to die because she wasn't functioning well. And yet they were willing to take her back to that. I mean, it just didn't make any sense. So it's been a very stressful time because, of course, I am adamant that we will be giving these beautiful bunnies all of the care that they need. But that is a big responsibility. I mean, as I said, just recently, Blossie had to have an operation on a skin fold that was causing infections and problems around her bottom end. She had to have that done. That in itself was an $800 operation. And then on the same day, Ben had to have an ultrasound on a suspicious lump under his ribs. Ben is in the other rabbit room. He's black and white rabbit in the other rabbit room, and he had to have an ultrasound on a suspicious lump on his ribs. That was a $300 procedure in itself. So that's just in one day. And they also have ongoing daily pain relief, that sort of thing. So it's been stressful in that respect, that I've had to then find ways to fundraise and create options for donation and that sort of thing that people can donate to. So I set up a vet fund with our wonderful vet, a vet account, I suppose you'd say, where people can donate money to that for me. And people have been so generous. I've been so touched by how generous people have been to support us and the bunnies, and how much people have donated. It's just been amazing, absolutely amazing. So we have that. We also have got a PayPal account where people have been really generous to donate, and ongoingly I have set up a Patreon account, which I'll pop the link into the description if you're interested in signing up to be one of our Patreon supporters, where people can donate a certain amount every month, so maybe $7 a month, or maybe up to $25 a month, and within that you get different benefits in increments with that. And so you can sponsor the bunnies, be a sponsor person to one of the bunnies that needs the ongoing care. So we've set that up, but it's been a lot of work because it's not my comfortable forte of doing that sort of thing. So it has been a lot of work and a lot of stress, but of course they're absolutely worth it, and I'm so glad that they're still with us and in our home and in our family. So yeah, that's where we're up to at the moment. So I'll show you who we've got now. This will be our long-term, I had a lot of rabbits come and go when I was long-term fostering for the sanctuary, because of course I got them for sort of palliative care at the end of their lives. So ones would go and another one would come in, but this is now our adopted lot of bunnies. So we have Blossie over here in the corner, and she's the one that's recently had the operation. We've got Mrs. Higgins here. We've got Beanie. We've got Little Lady. She's still looking for a sponsor person. She hasn't got a sponsor yet, and same with Ralph back there. We have Sable in here. He was already one of my adopted bunnies. We have Ralph, who's just hopped into his box, I think. Are you in there, Ralphie? Yeah, he's in there. Hey, Ralph. So we've got Ralph in there. I'll just take you to the next bunny room so you can see the other ones. This is my bunny room number 2, and in here we have little Lulu. You can see she's got leg problems and she's blind in one eye, little Lulu there. And we have Master Peaches over here. Hey, dear Lulu. Hey, sweetheart. And then we have Jersey in here. He was one of my already adopted bunnies as well. And we have over here, we have Lotus, who was again already an adopted bunny. And in the back here we have little Ben, who's bonded to Lotus, and he is blind in both eyes now and also pretty deaf. And he's the one that just had the ultrasound recently as well. So he's having a tough time, poor Ben, but he's still here. He's still with his Lotus, which is wonderful because he relies on her a lot for comfort and to help him out, getting around and all that sort of thing. So that's the update at the moment as to what we're up to. And this is bunny room number 2. And yeah, so I just wanted to let you know everything that's been going on. It's been quite a bit that's been going on. And yeah, thank you for sticking about and waiting while I upload another video. I seem to say that all the time, but I really do appreciate it. Life just gets so busy looking after all these beautiful bunnies, and I also have the other animals as well. So I've got around 20 animals altogether that I look after every day, so it does get pretty busy. So I do appreciate you waiting in between times for my updates and my videos. And I will send you lots of love and hugs, and I will see you hopefully soon in my next one. Bye!